Hello and welcome again. Thank you so much for being here. This is just such a pleasure and a privilege to be having a podcast, to know that it will get out to you wherever you may be and you can listen to it wherever you are and whenever you want. I'm just in love with this venue and this idea. It's just gorgeous. So today we're just going to talk about who you think you are. And I really love this topic because obviously it's subjective and we each have our own opinions, but I want to invite you to consider a few things today. So to start with, of course, we know that we are given identities the second we are born. They come to us before we even exist in this world, right? We are born in a certain country. We are born to certain parents. We are born in a certain, with a cultural background, for instance. And these things are instilled in us before we can even speak. So we know as we grow in the first few years that I knew that I was a daughter, and I ended up being a sister, and I am Caucasian in this body, and I happen to be Canadian, for instance. And we grow up with identities that we are given and then that we form based on decisions we make as we are navigating ourselves, our way in the world. So, oh, okay, I'm shy, or I don't like apples. I mean, there's a gazillion self-identities that actually form a structure of who we think we are and how we think the world works. And so, I'm not good at math, or we make these decisions when we're kids mostly that inform the way we behave going forward. And what happens, or what can happen, if you start becoming really conscious and usually what happens is it's a personal development journey, as I discussed with one of my podcast guests, and it turns into a spiritual journey. It just kind of evolves that way naturally for a lot of people because you start getting to know yourself and you start seeing your thought patterns and questioning your reality and questioning the way that you think how things are. And this is just the way that it is. And as you do that, these structures start to dissolve and they start to crumble and they start to become less permanent and less seemingly strong. And it's a really cool thing to start with thinking you know who you are and how things are. And this is who you are in the world because it gives you a sense of self. It gives you a sense of confidence to think you know who you are. And then as you go along in your conscious journey, and you start to awaken and you start to question and see those patterns and heal some of those. You see how dysfunctional they were and how limiting they were and how much of a box you had put yourself in unbeknownst to you. It's like you were in this cage or this box, this structure, as Michael Singer puts it, this house that you built around your psyche or your consciousness, your heart, your essence, your soul, that you think is who you are. And it's true, we do have a human blueprint in this lifetime. We are each iterations of consciousness, so we do have certain tendencies and perhaps things that are how we would work best in this lifetime. But honestly, all of it is self-created. All of it is structure that we put there so that we could feel secure and safe and centered. Because the more you start to realize there are no boundaries, there are no limits to who we can be and who we think we are. Well, I probably couldn't be an Olympic swimming man in this lifetime. It's not likely, or not, I am a female and I am a woman and I'm my age and I have a daughter and I'm a mother, and those things aren't going to change. But who I really am is so boundless and so connected to everything else. And when we start to see this, it dissolves the structure, which is really can be quite confronting at first, because everything you stood on, it's like your foundation starts to fall away, and that can be really scary and very unsettling. And then you start going through the fire of healing and facing your patterns and seeing that they are not who you are. And the thoughts you have are not who you are. And it opens up. Before it opens up, it scares the heck out of you, and it's challenging, and it's really, really hard. And then it opens up these new vistas and these new possibilities and these new frequencies of consciousness that you could not access before from the structure you were holding yourself in. And then you have this gateway, this portal to this whole new way of being because you're in your heart. If you're listening and not watching, this is, if the microphone is picking up on, it's the sound of me tapping my heart. You're in your heart. You're not in your patterns. You're not in your mind. And so from this place, you feel your truth and you feel what you really are and you're present. So you're not projecting. You're not running a pattern. You're just here, right now. And from that space, you access downloads, connections, ideas, new people, the knowledge that we are all one anyway. So as you align to sort of different ideas, you can get a sense of this is for me, this is not for me. Your intuition is heightened because that's your true voice. It's just such a cool thing because who you thought you were is completely false. And who you really are is way more powerful, way more beautiful, so incredibly important in this world. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about me being in my heart, knowing who I am, and inviting you to do the same. Because the world feels like it's in trouble. And I don't know, none of us know the ultimate truth. Not while we're here in a human body, in a human consciousness. We do not know the ultimate game that's being played here. But I do know that my heart feels for all of us who are struggling and alone and what we're doing to our planet. And my knowing is that when we are in our hearts, it's what I like to call heart-based leadership. We lead with love. We lead with our hearts. And it is not weakness, it is strength, it is power. It gives us almost magical powers of connection and synchronicities that you just, as I said, could not access from the lower frequencies of fear and despair and anger and aloneness. And we all go through all of these things. But the more you connect in with your truest self, the more you feel connected to all that is. And then you start to realize who you really are and what you really are, which is love, which is the essence of life, just dancing through this world for a very short time, a beautiful, incredible, poignant, important, special, unique gift of time in this world. And then you get to choose consciously who you are. I choose that I am love. I choose that I am connectedness. I choose to share my heart with you and bring on guests who will open up your world and have conversations that move the needle in all the things that I care about in this world. And that's what I choose. So instead of being just the person that I thought I was and the daughter and the mother and the, realtor that I was and all of these things, it's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different conversation. And my invitation for you is to do the same. Do your work. We need you. If you're a woman and you're feeling like you wanted to, dive into your feminine essence, that's a strong thing. If you're a man and you're doing your healing work, thank you. If you are a human, which you would be listening to this, other than the pets that are on the listening by default, you are very important. And your inner work to get to this point where you know what you are is the only work that matters now. So thank you. And I look forward to hearing your feedback on who you are becoming, who you are coming to know that you are. And if you want a little more connection, I will always invite you onto our Telegram group. It's /Love Notes Daily, because it's a little more infusion of love and connection and encouragement and inspiration in your day, just a few minutes every day. So please come and join us in there. And I've got lots more things cooking up. I love this work. I've gone through the fire enough times to know that I will stay in my heart and I will keep delivering to you everything that I can, heart and soul. And so I thank you for being here, and I will talk to you next time. And I'm going to share my intro so that you can see the links. And please, please just continue to be in your heart and share this. Thank you so much. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoyed this episode and it helped you open your heart, feel inspired, and know that we are all connected. Please subscribe and share so this work can touch more people. This is how we co-create the world we want to live in. Thank you so much again for joining us, and talk to you next time.